Lucky for you, one of our guests tonight is well-versed in the deep secrets of Jewish mysticism. I am proud and honored and privileged to introduce Rabbi David Yisrael Kalmus, founder of the Tzion Breslov project. Rabbi Kalmus.
How you doing, guys? So nice to see you. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Today's a very, very important day. Today is the most underestimated, most underrated important day of the whole year. This is the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away. And this is the day that all the secrets of creation, all the secrets of the soul, all the secrets of reality were revealed in the world. We know that 24,000 of Rabbi Akiva's students passed away leading up to this day, and they stopped on this day. What did Rabbi Akiva teach? To love your brother like yourself. This is the Klal Gadol. This is the great rule of the Torah. What does that mean? It means that every single mitzvah in the Torah that Hashem wants us to do, that wants every Jew to connect to him through these 613 different pieces of advice in order to connect, the mitzvah, which encompasses all of them, is to love your friend, your brother, like yourself. Now, this is very, very beautiful, and this goes very counter to what we experience in society. But the obvious question is, how do you actually do that? How do you love your brother like yourself? It's nice to say it. And when we have a kumbaya like this and we can speak to each other, I'm sure we could feel it for a few seconds. But when we get off our phones, are we still feeling that love for each other? Do we feel that love for another person like you feel for yourself? Have you ever loved someone as much as you love yourself? And then the bigger question is, how could Hashem, who created us and gave us this mitzvah, which is not just a piece of advice, he's telling us we have to do this. We have to love every single person, every Jew, like ourselves. How can you be commanded to do that? Can you feel anything on command? Even when you feel good, wouldn't you love to always feel good? But you can't keep it going. Sometimes you get sad, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you lose your state. So how can you have a commandment from the Torah, which encompasses all the commandments from the Torah, and it is the essence of the entire Torah? How could Hashem command us to love another person like ourselves? That's an emotion. The answer is very deep. Notice that the mitzvah is not to love every Jew. It's to love every Jew like yourself. That means that the prerequisite to loving other Jews is first to love yourself. I was asked to come on here and talk about how you could practically access this mitzvah. How can you actually love other Jews like you love yourself? And the answer is surprising. That actually first you need to learn to love yourself. Because there's no way to keep this mitzvah in which the entire Torah and the whole world stands on unless you have first acquired love for yourself. What does it mean to love yourself? How do you love yourself? To love yourself means to love the good that's inside of you. Many people, especially in our generation, don't understand that the negativities that we experience in our life, the difficulties we experience in our life, they are not us. We have those difficulties, but we are not those difficulties. Often, whenever we go through something in our life, we associate the negativity with ourselves. I'm a loser. It's my fault. I did this. Here we go again. Why? Because we associate the challenges with our own lackings. But the Torah teaches something amazing. That your negativities, that your difficulties and obstacles in your life, they are not you, not at all. They are not even close to you. They are something that you have to go through in order to reveal who you really are. That piece inside of you is only good. The Torah teaches, the Zohar teaches, which is the book that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote, that every single Jew has a soul which is called the Nefesh Elokit. That is a piece of God. Doesn't mean that you have a soul that was created by Hashem. It means that you actually have a piece of God inside of you. That piece inside of you is who you are. That is your essence. And the whole world is waiting for you to reveal that part of yourself. The only way to do that is to love that part of yourself and to recognize that part of yourself. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, who is a Hasidic master, who is a spiritual doctor, who is someone who they had in the New York newspaper recently, talking about the coronavirus and how do we get through it. And he says the whole world is a very narrow bridge. The main thing is not to be afraid. But he has an even more essential teaching that has to do with loving your brother like yourself. How do you do this? You must first have to love yourself. And how does Rabbi Nachman say you do that? You have to locate the Nakuda Tova within you. You have to find the good point inside of you. Because if you don't recognize the good point inside of you, you're never going to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love your brothers like yourself. And whatever love you think you have for your brothers is vain. It's not real because it requires that you first love yourself. That means finding the good points inside of you and saying them out loud. A practical piece of advice. We all have an ability today to find that good more than any day during the year because we have an ability to love our brothers like ourselves more now than we can during the year. So my suggestion for everyone here, if you're brave enough, if you're willing enough to try something different, take 10 minutes today to yourself and say out loud the parts of yourself that you feel are good. And if you don't feel you have any good, look harder. Rabbi Nachman says the fact that you're Jewish is good enough for you to be happy about yourself your whole entire life. Growing up, I was an atheist. I grew up completely secular, and I didn't know anything about Israel. I went on Birthright for the first time, and I found out who I was. I got off the plane, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was home, even though I'd never been there. Because the land of Israel has a special ability to help you see the true good inside of you, and therefore love your brothers like yourself. And the land of Israel is not just a physical place. It's also a state of mind. When I see the good in myself and the good in everyone around me, that's called being in the land of Israel. That's called going on birthright. However, when I don't see the good in myself and therefore I don't get to see the good in anyone else, that's called being outside of the land of Israel. This beautiful company is trying to get you to the land of Israel. Understand this is much deeper than a physical trip. You're going home. Home doesn't just mean a physical place. Home means the place you've been yearning to go to your whole entire life. My whole life, I felt like an outcast. I felt like a stranger. I felt different. I went through many depressive episodes because I didn't love myself. And I found out after I went to the land of Israel that all the things that bothered me about myself, that made me feel like a stranger, that made me feel different, that they were all because I'm Jewish, and they were the most beautiful things about me. The fact that I loved with no end, the fact that I wanted unity in the world, the fact that I wanted peace in the world. And even though I didn't see anybody who cared about these things, the reason is because I'm Jewish. And in the soul of every single Jew, there is this desire for these things. And it's the best part about you. It's the peace of God that's inside of you. Today, we have an ability to connect to the good inside of you, and through this to love every single Jew. And by the way, this is what heals the whole world. So therefore, if you want to heal the world, you have to first heal yourself. And the key to healing is love. Find the good points inside of you. Take 10 minutes today and just say it out loud. And if you feel you don't have any good points, know that you're Jewish. And even though you may not appreciate how good that is, believe me when I tell you that you are a living miracle. That for thousands of years, we have been the smallest nation in existence, with no physical power, with no tools to sustain. And all of these nations have come to conquer the world, and they all have disappeared. They were much stronger than us. They were much bigger than us. They were much more capable than us. And we have outlasted all of it. And you sitting here right now, the fact that you're alive and that your mother or your father is Jewish and that you consider yourself Jewish and that you want to go to the land of Israel, that you've been there, it means you are literally a living miracle. So if you want to start with a good point, How am I good? And therefore to be able to love every other Jew like yourself, realize you are a miracle. You are a miracle. And even if you don't believe in God, like I didn't believe in God my whole life, you're still a miracle according to nature. Because according to nature, our nation shouldn't be here anymore. According to evolution, we should have been wiped out thousands of years ago. So no matter how you look at it, you are a miracle. So I give everybody a blessing here that on today, you're able to tap into this energy within yourself, your soul. Your soul is the good inside of you. To stop demonizing yourself, to stop thinking that you are your problems. You have challenges. You are only good. Connect to the good. You'll connect to the good in everyone else, and you'll be able to love your brother like yourself. Thank you, Shachar.